Welcome to Massive Beers. My name is Matt. We do the beer stuff here. Kane. It's been a minute since I've done a Kane beer. But I had a hankering. I had a hankering for actually double IPA. I don't know what it is. I was just like, I want something big. I want something rich. I want something robust. I've did a couple of reviews of double IPAs, other half stuff like that. And I'm just, they're hitting a spot for me. I don't know what it is. Saw this pop on my shelf. Figured pick it up. Let's dive in. We have Kane Brewing Company. This is their Retractable Skeg. Whatever the hell that means. It is an Imperial India Pale Ale. 8% alcohol by volume. Store cold, drink fresh. How fresh are we drinking this? This was canned 8 days ago. Lucky, I live in New Jersey. Kane gets decent distribution. And their distribution, all hearsay. But I hear they're a little bit aggressive when it comes to their distro. They want spots. They want cooler space. Don't put my stuff on the shelf. So they have that kind of pull in New Jersey. So their stuff tends to not just get places, but get there in a really great shape. So yeah, hopefully this one is much the same. We're going with the stemmed fatty glass here. Label-wise, it's, I don't know. It's a departure from what I usually see from Kane. Kind of reminds me a little David Bowie-ish kind of face makeup kind of thing going on. So we'll see what's what. I can't tell you how many fruit flies are in here. I can't tell you the last time I had a double IPA from Kane. I can tell you the last time I had Hazie from Kane. Their sneak box, I've talked about it ad nauseum on my channel, is on my Mount Rushmore of low ABV haze. 5.4%, almost a staple in my fridge. Very rarely there's not some sneak box in there, so I drink those quite often. And then outside of that, typically what I drink from Kane more recently than not tends to be a lot of, like, you know, lagers, more low ABV, hop forward stuff, even stouts to a certain extent. So their double IPAs tend to escape me. So we'll see where this one lands. So label-wise, it's all right. Beer-wise, definitely looks the part of a big old hazy. Doesn't have that super creamy, fluffy head to it. And the body is a little bit... It's hazy. No one's going to mistake it for not being hazy. But it doesn't have that super turbidity that a lot of people really covet, especially when it comes to these kind of big old double IPAs. It doesn't look bad by any stretch of imagination. It just doesn't have that, like, soupiness to it, but we're not knocking it for that, as long as it tastes good. So it looks like, you know, kind of like an old school, new school double IPA, you know, hey, you know, focal banger-ish, kind of that kind of stuff. So, yeah. Anyway, let's see what the nose has to offer. There's something funky and I shouldn't say funky, that's weird. There's something ranky in there, and a little mean mug, and a little bit of kind of just dirtiness in a very, very fun way. That's, you know, nothing too hyper aggressive, especially for 8%. You kind of want things to jump out of the glass for you, especially when it comes to aromatics. But there is this nice kind of fruitiness to it, nothing too overly aggressive, you know, a nice perception of sweetness. But there is this little bit of beester weedy kind of, I don't know, icky stickiness that's kind of floating on the background that has me all kinds of hot and bothered. Man, I really do dig that nose. It's not hyper aggressive, but there's something there that has me kind of just chomping at the bit. So we're diving in. Cheers, y'all. Yeah. I missed that, man. Man, that's double IPA. It's aggressive. It's really aggressive. You know, it pops out of the glass for you. Like I said, the nose didn't really do that for you. But for me, I should say, on the taste, it really does jump out. First things first, you're getting punched with this icky, sticky rankiness. Weed, you know, nugs. Old school nugs. Not like Bubba Kush. No, that's old school nugs. But, like, not like new school, like super boutique-y, ultra fruitiness. And that's kind of where this beer is kind of going for me. Kind of tip my cap about being old school, new school. It's like old school nugs, to where it has this, like, fruitiness and just this cool new flavor profile that a lot of weed didn't have, but brings that icky stick with it, brings that ranky dank with it, and it's kind of showing up in the way this beer kind of drinks. That's the first thing that jumps out at you, just this little coating of this resinous, keefy kind of mean mugginess. And then around that thing dances a bunch of kind of, I would say, kind of melange of fruits. You know, you're dipping in everywhere from your peaches, the nectarines, the tangerines, over in the citrus side of things, jumping over to your mangoes, papaya kind of thing. You're running the gamut of all those. But I would say it is very much kind of stone fruit leaning, in the sense that, like, if we're dividing it in thirds, 40% stone fruit and everything else is kind of 30 and 30. So you get that kind of melange in there, but it really is that kind of ebb and flow back and forth between that kind of nice icky stickiness, of that weediness, of that rankiness, and that really rich kind of sweeter but not overly ripened kind of fruitiness in a really drinkable, fun mouthfeel. And by that I mean it has a density to it and has something that is not thin, but it's not heavy by any stretch of imagination. And I kind of looked at it and I was like, you know, it doesn't have that turbidity that you typically expect from these double IPAs. And it ends up being a kind of a very much a positive here, because I think what it does, it lets a lot of the aggressiveness lie in the icky sticky portion of the show, in the fruit portion of the show, and lets the drinkability kind of be a little bit less of a chore. You know, I think if this is really dense, it ends up being too much. You know, you get that icky sticky, you get that fruitiness, that richness, and then it's dense, and you're like, man, it's really impactful on all three levels. But when you have it, again, not thin, but something a bit more drinkable, I think it lends itself to being a better version of the beer. I think this is a really, really, really good double IPA. Again, you're not going to sit here and confuse us. I think with many other double IPAs, it's not afraid of being bitter. It's not afraid of being, like, ranky-dank, weedy. You know, pulling weeds and smoking weeds. I haven't said that one in a while. And both of those at the same time. Tomato stocky. Let's bring them all out of the woodwork here. And it just, it has that old school sensibility. That old school not being afraid of the onion, of the garlic, of the icky, of the sticky, while at the same time embracing the new school kind of fruitiness. It plays both sides of the spectrum in a very, very, very fun way. I dig this. I'm glad I got a 4-pack of this. 4-pack double IPA is not necessarily my jam nowadays, and, you know, for some reason I had a hankering, and I think I chose wisely. Very much a Last Crusade kind of thing here. Cup of Christ. Jesus Christ. It's not that good. But you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, I don't know what else I'm going to say. You know, runs the gamut of fruit, leaning a little bit heavy on the stone fruit, more than the other ones, but again, not over the top. Really nice, rich, ranky-dank, old school, weedy, just deliciousness fluttering around there. Again, I'm not saying it's punching you in the face, but it's aggressive enough and balanced enough of that fruit portion show to be really, really fun. A really perfectly laid out mouthfeel that I think if is obviously a little thinner, it's no good, but I think if you get it really dense on it, it makes it a much different beer. I'm a fan. Mount Rushmore, double IPAs, as of late. I kind of want to put it up there. I am. It is. As of late, Mount Rushmore status. Double IPA. Yeah. It is just bringing all that old school goodness in a very, very new school package. And I am down with it. I'm here for it. So, yeah, let's put it up there. Value and availability. I want to say this is $19. This is double IPA. It is what it is. If you like what we like this. If you like old school, new school, and by that I mean like late teens, hazy double IPA, you know, think, you know, single cut, original single cuts, you know, Fiddleheads, those kind of beers, the Lawsons of the world, when they were doing the Alchemist with their all the weed arbol on us kind of things. This very much is a echo or homage, some representation of what that was, but in today's form. So if you dig new school hazy IPA, but you want a little bit of that old school in the mix, you're going to be happy. There you go. Review in the books. Kane, have you been to the brewery? I've been there a ton of times. I haven't been there since pre-pandemic. Let's put it that way. Have you been to the brewery? Do you dig it? Do you like their beers? Have you had this particular beer? If they've made it multiple times, have you had this iteration? All that fun stuff down there. There you go. Review down. Hopefully you all enjoyed the review. Hopefully enjoying a little bit of Frankie Dank right now. Hopefully see you next time. Cheers, y'all.